last name. Even though Joe Montana's name was used for Scarface for Tony Montana, little movie tribute with Oliver Stone. But we do that around here, by the way. But he paid a price. And then you get a Brady comes along, he's paid a price. And it's a twisted situation. So Jay Will, so I like addressing that one. I'm a huge Montana fan. He's still one of the coolest, clutchest quarterbacks I've ever seen, and I always hold him in my top three ever, top two, three ever. Won big games because it was a different NFL. It's almost not even fair to compare. Because if I go by what his dominance was in the Super Bowl, it's like that what Jordan did in the Super Bowl in the NBA Finals. He was another level. So just saying. Better receiving corps. 90 Vikings or Steelers. The Vikings because they were 15-1. They dominated. Bigger waste though was the Steelers was a waste. Um, he was a faster version too. Okay, Jay Will hit a bigger arm to me. Jeff George. Culpepper was better in the middle of the field. George could just flat out rock that thing, but his attitude was stank. And Culpepper got the most of his career. So that's all I gotta say about that. Pool requests. Poll request. Oh, tougher Bills title. I mean Bulls title. 98, man. 98 in a blowout. Because I really think the strain and the vein was catching up to him. They beat the Knicks in 6 games in '93. The Phoenix series was crazy and hokey, but that Utah series, everything had to go right. You always be asking me why I think about Kevin Johnson, and see, Stockton was a better poised player. Put John Stockton with Charles Barkley in that '93 team, and they beat the Bulls. Stockton with Barkley beat them. I think organization is what hurt Phoenix. Structure. And I think that Paul Westphal got out coached structurally. And I always thought that Reggie Dumas was the best player that Phoenix had, even though Barkley was MVP. They didn't get the best out of what they got. And that was a strange series. Strange. Okay, so let me go on. 93 was tough, but it wasn't the same as 98. Because the Pacers had wore down the Bulls by the time they got to the finals. I'm gonna tell you something. The Pacers just couldn't get no rebounds. That's why they lost that finals. And also, and also, Utah didn't have that center. I think that's the difference. You think the Suns were loaded? I mean, what I watched, I didn't think the Suns were loaded. I thought Dumas was bad. Charles was bad. Danny Ainge really. Dan Marley was bad. But I didn't think the Suns were a threat. And you notice they choked against Houston the next 2 years after that. So what does that say about them? Jay Will, that's not that close because Bo and Marcus were better. I like Priest Holmes and Jamal Charles a lot, but they weren't touching Marcus Allen in his prime, and they wouldn't have touched Bo Jackson if Bo Jackson hadn't got hurt. So that's a no. That one ain't that close. And I like Priest a lot. Jamal was nice. Pacers were up in fourth. Well, they weren't gonna win that game though. I remember ball at like yesterday. KJ was nice, but he wasn't Stockton. Big difference. And I think that Stockton with Barkley then wins a chip. And you put him there in that era. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Why is this thing not hitting properly? See if I can.